Good day. My name is Konrad Szpak. I work as an academic teacher at the Tischnera University in Krakow, and I'm also a chairman of the Institute of Public Policies. And I invite you to listen to this podcast about project management 2.0, as well as participatory budget. You will know what project management 2.0 is, when open data is really open, what are major benefits affiliated with participatory budget, and why this concept is sometimes being criticized. This project has been founded with support from the European Commission. This publication reflects the views only of the author, and the Commission cannot be held responsible for any use which may be made of the information contained therein. Project Management 2.0. What's that? So-called Project Management 2.0 term is identified with new IT technologies, with Web 2.0 technologies. Such developments include, for instance, wikis, blogs, or collaborative software. Users are no longer only just recipients, but rather creators and developers. Most crucial characteristics of Web 2.0 include occurrence of websites communities, ability to establish contacts with other people and specific networks, or using free license. In what way new IT technologies does affect project management? It is said that project management 2.0 is based on decentralization of power, bottom-up planning, global access to information, flexibility in the use of various tools. Well, it does sound good, but please remember that there is no consensus between PM experts, project managers, what PM 2.0 really is. According to some of them, this concept should be considered rather as a marketing slogan. One of the most important aspects of reforming public administration is open data. Open, which means that you can access them, use and reuse. Unfortunately, some of public data which should be accessible is not. Why is that? Some public institutions do not publish data through the internet, or they do this in a not friendly user way. It should be mentioned that creating such data was paid by taxpayers who could not access them. So what are main features of open data? First of all, we should consider current data. Secondly, it can be processed. So, for instance, this is not a scanned PDF document without a find function, and you can use it from the legal perspective. It is worth to mention that open data can improve our daily life and strengthen functioning of public administration. Open data is also quite useful in the field of providing transparency and increasing citizens' engagement. There are plenty of examples of open data. For instance, public transport timetable, financial disclosure, statement of means, or map, especially important in the field of zoning plans. There are some NGOs which are striving to promote open data within Poland and professionalism within public administration. You can look, for instance, at otwartedane.pl website or otwarte dane, czyli dane po warszawsku, appium warszawa.pl, or make yourself familiar with activity of a państwo foundation, which aim is to develop democracy, open and transparent authorities, and civic engagement. It looks like the popularity of local initiatives based on collaborative work and IT tool is increasing year by year. One of examples of such improvement is a participatory budget. Participatory budget, also known as a civic budget, is an innovative democratic process of making decisions on how and for what purposes to spend a part of the city budget. For the very first time, the participatory budget process was organized in 1989 in Porto Alegre, in Brazil. It is worth mentioning that its initial aim was not only to distribute financial resources, but rather to strengthen residents' engagement, including the poorest ones, and raising their social responsibility for the city. After a decade of using civic budget in Porto Alegre, access to a sewerage system increased from 49% residents, less than half, to 98% of them, nearly all residents. Additionally, local taxes receipts increased by 140%, and the number of pupils increased by 240%. In Poland, civic budget was implemented for the very first time in 2011 in Sopot. Nowadays, residents can select their projects and initiatives in many places, but mostly in major cities, maybe probably because of the NGO positive impact. How the participatory budget is organized? The very initial step in the process is analysis of social needs, and secondly, of possibilities of meeting them. Not all needs could be met, therefore we must focus on most important ones. After that, some specific actions are proposed and promoted, also through social media, by their authors. The last step is selecting and voting process. The best initiatives are financed within civic budget of the city. Basically speaking, residents create and determine the process of making financial decisions. They are responsible for spending specific amount of money within a participatory budget, which is usually up to 3% of the whole budget. Local authorities, on the other hand, are responsible only for technical aspects of the process. Why a civic budget is a very good idea for the city? Among many benefits connected with implementing participatory budget in a city, we could distinguish following ones. Most effective allocation of public money, at least to some extent, promotion of civic engagement, better communication between citizens and authorities, or promotion of dialogue and social harmony. Participatory popularity is increasing year by year. For instance, within two last editions of civic budget in Warsaw, 980 projects were selected and amount of approximately 77 million of Polish złotych was distributed. In Krakow, within a third edition of civic budget, over 8 million of Polish złotych was secured. the cost of general initiative in Krakow must be over 25,000 zloty. And this edition will be organized within a dedicated online platform. A good practice of local authorities is presenting a specific price list in order to provide to the residents possible cost of their ideas. For example, in Krakow, one bicycle stand costs approximately 500 zlotych. Repair of pavement is from 150 to 250 per square meter. Bicycle path up to 500,000 zlotych per 1 kilometer. Street lamp from 8 to 15,000 zlotych. Outdoor gym from 100 to 250,000 Polish zlotych. Police patrol 200 zlotych per hour. 1 point of city monitoring, even 90,000 of Polish zlotych. Is a participatory budget always a good idea? Well, the process of launching the civic budget within a city is a very complex one. Local authorities are sometimes rather skeptical about this concept. What is really important is the fact that residents must be provided with relevant knowledge connected with functioning of local government or budget procedures, so they could make proper decisions. It is possible, though, that not a representative group of citizens is taking part in the process. Sometimes, specific lobby groups are extremely active and they promote their initiatives by, for instance, sponsored articles and cooperation with commercial entities. As a result, projects useful only for a very small number of people are finally selected. Such situations are possible because of the fact that relatively a small number of residents are participating in the process. For instance, only 7% of inhabitants took part in the last edition of Civic Budget in Krakow. In addition, sometimes selected projects are not even being executed, or the execution is extremely poor. If you are interested in further information about participatory budget, I recommend you publications of, for instance, Pole Dialogu Foundation or of Civic Institute. Has civic budget been implemented in your city, town or village? I would like to encourage you to be actively involved in public affairs, including local ones. You can do that within, for instance, NGO activity. Our projects could be identified with PM2O or not. Could use open data or not. Remember, it is our social commitment that matters. Thank you. This project has been founded with support from the European Commission. This publication reflects the views only of the author, and the Commission cannot be held responsible for any use which may be made of the information contained therein.